Hi, Keith. I know this is strange, and we're asking you questions, but this is a trying to keep a record of where we're going, and so we're trying to start with where we're coming from, and then trying to identify where we're going to over the next year or so. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and the first question I want to ask you is, what e-learning or ICT have you used in your class in the last year?
Okay, in the last year, the beginning of last year, we focused on children doing PowerPoints, which was related to their topic that they were doing. They've also worked with the camera, digital camera. They moved on then to integrate a little bit into Movie Maker, and they've also, in the ICT, and they're starting to present what they've done on the computer on a projector, a digital projector, so the others could see.
Cool. So when you planned this work, was it an integral part of the whole class planning that you were doing, or was it just an extra set of skills that you wanted the students to learn?
We were using what we call a pathway program, and as a rich task, we often make our rich task has got an ICT base.
Oh yeah.
And so to show what they'd learned and their knowledge and their research, they presented it by using ICT. So that's why we used first at the beginning of the year a PowerPoint, and the ones that didn't know taught the other ones.
Cool.
Working.
And so you were pleased with the success of these tasks?
Yes, I think in that what they produced, and that the majority were very good. They weren't just copying information, they were writing it in their own words, and then learning the skills of editing.
Cool.
And finding the right pictures they wanted.
Cool. And so if you were to do it again, if you were to repeat it, how would you modify it?
If I had the same children.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true. Yeah, exactly.
On, because I might start where they are now. But I would like to see them, instead of just importing pictures and doing information, I'd like to see them trying some other things, like importing a little movie into it, so they're boarding up a little bit further. With the digital camera, I would like them to look very carefully at what they're actually photographing, and build perhaps a better picture of what they're doing, and maybe using some skills of cropping and things like that.
Cool. So to make that work, did you have to modify how you managed your classroom?
The way that I use, and that I usually, each child in that has a set computer time,
right,
which they just go and use, regardless of what I'm doing. They just know it's their time and they go. And that usually takes the first half of the week. The second half of the week, they usually either work on a particular project with another person at a computer, so they get time. Plus we have a time where we have the little notebooks as well, so they can always access their file,
right,
and the work they're doing, and continue with it.
Cool. This is really good. So what was the impact, do you think, of on the student learning as a result of these activities that you chose? Was it positive?
Yes, enthusiasm was the big thing, that they wanted to have the computer, and even the ones that weren't sure noticed by the end of the year, and that they were quite happy.
So they were engaged in the task.
So they were engaged on their task.
Cool.
They used it for different purposes as well, for maths, athletics, and things as well.
So was there? Did you measure this, or was it just? How do you know it was? It was successful. Other than just the response.
When they were doing their rich task, they had a Rubik's, which tied into the ICT, so they knew where they were when they were doing their PowerPoint, what stage they were at. And that was one way of doing it. They also, by presenting it to the class, they could see other people's work as well, and gauge their success. For me, looking at if they were a success, and that I was wanting to see that they had travelled from where they started to, if you like, they could go and independently work on a particular task.
Cool. So I guess the big question is, to make all that success happen, did the e-learning skills that the students had to learn to be successful in their outcome, did it get in the way of the intended learning outcomes from the curriculum that you wanted to do?
No, not really, because the way we worked on the schools, but we had so many children that had used those things, and I encouraged them to actually use it at home.
Right.
And I would hope that home they would be building their skills there, away from the classroom, so they could come back to the classroom and show what they'd learned at home.
And they were happy to do that?
And they were happy to do that. It was quite surprising the number that turned up with little bits to show the class that they'd done.
Okay, I've already asked you how to improve it. So, what e-learning goals have you set for the coming year?
Okay, this year I want to extend the children into different tools of using. So instead of just using PowerPoint, I want to find another tool that is similar, maybe, that they can use. I would also want to be able to use more of the movie type of thing into their work instead of just static pictures.
Okay, cool. So just coming down here. Is it important in your view that every child does the same activity in your class?
If we're looking at the beginning, if it was we had a particular task to produce something, then yes. But then as time goes on through the year, last year, the children were trying out in their own time when they had their computer time, were trying things that they had done or trying new things they'd learned at home. So they weren't actually doing the same thing. They had more independence to choose.
I guess what I'm saying is, would management be easier in the classroom for you if students didn't have to all do the same activity to achieve a result? So, is it valid, I guess, to say that a student might produce a particular resource on a computer and a student next to them might not produce the same end result because they don't use the computer? So is the learning equally valid, I guess is what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it is. I think as long as the student achieves something that they want to present to others, and they've actually made some progress from where they were, that happens quite often. You get the children that are very good at something, producing something that the others would never be able to achieve. For instance, I know that we had some last year that could put sound onto their PowerPoints and could put animation onto there too, with some of them, and that wouldn't even got to that stage. And they tried something different.
Cool. Okay, well thank you for that, and we look forward to speaking to you again later in the year.
Very good.
Thanks.